Hello. There we go. Hey, my name's Barton Damer. I'm the owner and founding artist of a studio called Already Been Chewed. First off, I just want to thank RenderCon for having me out here. Very first RenderCon ever. I was not expecting this. This is incredible. So give it up for their team. Like, I was not expecting anything on this level. I'm super inspired, really excited, happy to share some of our work from our studio. Hopefully, it inspires you all as well. But yeah, this event's incredible. I hope to attend here regularly. So this will be a thing that I hope to bring my team to as well. Super inspiring. So thanks for putting this event on, and thanks for having me here. So our studio is called Already Been Chewed. Today I'm going to break down a project that we worked on with Nike for the Air Max 1000. First, I'm going to talk through a little bit about the studio itself, and then we'll jump into the creative process and some of the thinking behind that particular project. So this is some of our work. We're known for a variety of things. Some people know us for a lot of our Houdini work, working with luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, Lancome, Tiffany and Co. Other people think of us as the sneaker brand and working with a variety of sneaker launches from Nike to New Balance to Adidas, Under Armour, and a lot of other great brands that we're helping to launch products for. Some people think of us as the sports company doing a lot of sports work. And so you can see some of the examples here where we're combining live action with LED walls. Some of it's live action with green screen as well, working with the NBA, the NHL, and the NFL. And there's just a few more examples here of some of our work within the luxury brand space. I'll go ahead and play our motion reel for those who aren't familiar with our work, and then we'll talk a little bit more after this plays. Uh, Thank you. As you can see, we work in a variety of industries, and as artists, we really enjoy pushing ourselves into all different types of work, and not really just being pigeonholed as, like I said, some might think we're the sneaker company, some might see us as more of like the luxury brand, but you can see that we're able to really enjoy trying to hit a variety of target audiences with the work that we're doing. This is our team here, and the team that worked on the collection of work that you saw in that reel. And this is a little bit about our studio space and the brand that we've created for ourselves. I'm really excited about this. This is a feature wall that we just installed, and a lot of times we don't get to see our own work, whether it's in stadiums or in Times Square or other locations. And so, as our artists come and go through the studio space, I wanted to do something that would display the work that we're doing in a proper format. And so it's almost like a gallery wall meets a retail wall, and it also gives us just another way to show off the work, film it, and actually share it with clients as well, and they enjoy seeing that type of presentation of the work that we did for them. We recently just had our 15-year anniversary, and so we had a big 15-year party. And I'm going to skip past this video because of the time. So move into sharing this project that we did for the Nike Air Max 1000. This is a sneaker that is 3D printed. And so for this project, the goal was to come up with a story behind the product, the technology behind the product, and do it in a way that was very much believable, that it could have been either shot in camera or could be done very realistically. So maybe 60 to 70% of it could feel very authentic to the 3D printing process. And then maybe 30% of it could be more on the surreal side of things. And so I'll play this and then we'll dive into some of the thinking and exploration behind this project. So this entire video was based off of a video chat that we had with a company called Zellerfeld that came up with a way to 3D print these sneakers. And so they actually took us through their warehouse in Germany via video chat. And so this process actually happens, not quite as maybe luxurious as on display here, but everything from the way that it drops into water and it's water soluble and the supports dissolve, to it actually being sustainable. And towards the end of the project there, you saw that it got ground up, turned into filament, and now you can print new shoes. So all of that is actually true and part of the process and something that we worked into the creative for this project. But working with Nike on this, one of the challenges was, okay, what can we do to visualize 3D printing beyond obviously what you might be able to do by taking a camera and filming the 3D printers in the factory itself. And so we were able to work with the G code that actually 3D prints the sneakers and start developing animation techniques that were actually 100% real and correct to the way that it would be 3D printed. And so these are some of the early explorations that you can see here. One of the other things that we explored was what are the techniques to bring 3D printing to life, and also what's kind of the tone and the look of the project that we wanted to go with. And so in that exploration, ended up coming up with some final decisions, but wanted to share some of these explorations with you. So we explored not only like formation of the shoes based off of and inspired by G code layers coming together, but then we also started thinking of, okay, if we're 3D printing, we're going to have a challenge of just being stuck with a sneaker as a hero image. What if we want to expand on this and get some more of a story told? And so we started looking at zoetropes and the idea of bringing sport and action into the world of 3D printing in a way that could actually be done. And so some of these examples, while somewhat surreal, some of them are actually very much possible. So these are some more ways that we were looking at exploring layers of G code, and you can see the top right animation there. The idea there was that we would be able to form anything from logos to typography, and it could all be based off of the idea of pumping in some sort of G code there. These are some more explorations, and you can see we started developing the look, deciding that we wanted it to be a little less dark and moody, and a little more maybe photorealistic and natural light. And so these were some of the explorations that we were working on there. And then the bottom left, bottom left over here, wanted to share this one as well and kind of point this out for any of the 3D printing nerds that are in the room right now. We were really excited that this concept could actually be 3D printed, and if you used a laser light, the basketball, all of that is part of a structure. So that's not faked. It's not a visual effects. It's actually happening, in this case, in 3D space. But in theory, you could actually print that out and have that happening as like a POP display or things like that. So another test animation where we added some sound effects. And then these are some of the final animations that were used in the spot, but also as other deliverables. And then we also created matching assets that were pulled from and inspired by the actual spot itself. But these were not, they were not just cut downs. They were custom animations that Nike was using in a variety of ways. That's my alarm that I need to stop right now. And so we had multiple deliverables and rounded it out into a full campaign, which allowed us to do that using the assets from the original video itself. And then last, you can see some of the implementation here on how it was used. And so with that, I should probably take questions now. Is that my timing? So 5 minutes left that we could take some questions. If not, I could go through some more slides. Any questions at this point? Cool, I'll move on. And oh, we do have some questions. Okay.
What was the process with Nike as far as reviewing the work that you were putting together as you were putting it together, and then obviously all the way through to final approval, and how happy were they?
Yeah, so this particular project, I could say, was a really smooth process, and some of that was forced by the deadline. So we actually had only a 6-week turnaround time. And so we were able to kind of force approvals in order to hit a deadline that couldn't move. But we've worked with Nike in a variety of ways, and sometimes these campaigns can drag on for months at a time and then get cut and never see the light of day. But this one moved very rapidly, and we were able to develop full creative for it and get sign off on that. And essentially, I liken it to building a house. We were able to basically share the vision, share the blueprints, and then we were able to go build that house based off of some approved blueprints. And then just like building a house, you got to get the foundation inspected, or you got to get the plumbing inspected. Essentially, that's what we did, was we built the house that we all agreed upon. And if somebody had come in and said, I want a 5 bedroom, 3 bath house, even though I approved a 4 bedroom, 2 bath house, like there's no way we would have been able to hit the deadline. So it was really important to get like those blueprints approved and build what we all agreed on.
Hello. Um, can you give us a rough sketch of how did you manage the time frames, and how much of this time was the exploration part, since you have such a tight schedule?
Uh, Great question. So, um, some of these explorations, to be totally honest, were done um, in and around the deadline and not necessarily during that time frame. We were actually able to get approval on the creative uh, right early buy-in. And so we were able to execute on that. And so some of the explorations were us wanting to push it and then maybe present it as something that we could add on as maybe like another deliverable or things like that. So to answer your question, in a perfect world, we would have had several weeks, if not month or two, to go through that exploration phase. And then from there, we would have agreed on what we're actually going to build and then worked on it even further. So it was not an ideal timeline, but it worked out. And it also worked in our favor because we were able to kind of like force the approvals.
That's it. 2 minutes left.
All right, we got 2 minutes left. I can keep going then. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm. Yes. Yeah, that's a great question. So as far as our contracts go, they own the deliverables list. So whatever is on the final deliverables is something that they own. But if it's not on that deliverables list, then that's us. Yes. Yeah. So when we're working out of Houdini, we are typically using Redshift, but we will use Octane as well on certain occasions. But we are a lot of Redshift. All right, that is our time. So thank you very much.